Morning, Captain.
Good morning, Miss Sally.
Predicted that those talents would see him take up the chaplain mantle. His genuine rags to riches tale is published tomorrow in an autobiography called My Turn, and I have to tell you, it's our turn to enjoy his company now. So I know you'll give the biggest and the warmest welcome to Sir Norman Wisdom. Very busy. Come and have a seat.
Thank you.
I don't know. Do you know, at long last, you have revealed your exact age, 87. It's incredible.
No, they've got it wrong.
Oh, have they? Got it wrong in the book,
78. No, all right, 87. 87. I don't mind.
Where does all of this energy come from? Because you never stop.
Well, I just enjoy life, have fun, a little jog now and again. You know, when I collapse in the street, people pick me up and I'm all right.
It's fascinating, though, reading the book, because in your movies, for example, there was always that element, you know, of, like, feeling sorry for the character. When I read the book, I really felt sorry for the way, you know, the poverty that you had to put up with, what you had to put up with in your childhood.
Oh, yes, well, I know. No, I was born in very sorry circumstances. Both of my parents are very sorry.
but no, born in Marylebone.
Yes, yes, no, but when I was 9 years of age, my parents split up and were divorced. Mother had left home. My father was a chauffeur, and he used to be away for weeks, sometimes months at a time, and leave my dear brother, Fred, who sadly is no longer with us, left us, you know, with no money and no money to buy food or anything.
So you were 9 and he was 11 at the time?
I was 9 and he was 11. And we used to go up, born in Paddington, and used to go up to the Harrow Road where they used to put out the grocery stores, put stuff outside on display. And it was good, really, because it made it so much easier to nick, see. And we used to do that, and sometimes stuff that we'd take home to cook, well, try to cook. Have you ever had fried eggs with a shell on?
But I mean, see, but nowadays it would just seem incredible that a 9-year-old boy and an 11-year-old were left to fend for themselves, to steal the food, to exist in that way.
Well, it did. Actually, my father did put us with the guardians.
In the end, I mean,
yeah.
Eventually.
Oh, yeah. Well, after about a year. And after a while, he hadn't paid them, and they chucked us out.
So where were you sent to when you say you had guardians? Where did you go? Into
Hatfield,
the country?
Hatfield first. That's the one. Then he didn't pay them. They chucked us out, and then we went to somewhere else in London. And after 3 or 4 weeks, he hadn't paid them, and they chucked us out. Finished up at Deal in Kent, and I loved Deal in Kent. But
did you love being in the country after all that city life?
Oh yeah, oh yes. But in Deal, there were some nice people. But they kept my brother and chucked me out because I was cheeky and all that. But through my schoolmates, they knew of a couple of people, elderly people, who had been trying to adopt somebody, and they hadn't been allowed to, but they took me on. And they were smashing to me, and I left school when I was 13.
Was it in Deal, though, that you saw your very first film unit? You know, you saw a film crew and...
Oh, well, they were, yeah, by the boat saving thing. They were doing film at night, and I stayed up nearly all night watching them, you know, but that's all I could do.
Fascinating.
I just watch.
Yeah.
then I was errand boy at Lipton's. Do you want to know about that?
Yeah, sure. I love all the jobs that you did.
Because I was delivering on a bike, and I'd never had a bike all my life, and I became the fastest errand boy in town. With that.
Actually, your mother bought you a bike, didn't she, though, at one stage?
Oh, she did buy me a bike. Yeah, but that was a couple of years before that, and I took it home, and my father said, "Where'd you get that?" I said, "My mother gave it to me for Christmas," and he stamped all on it and smashed it up. Oh,
not good. No, anyway, so you got on your Lipton's bike.
Yeah, I got on my Lipton's bike, and I became, without a shadow of a doubt, the fastest errand boy in town. So much so that the manager of the Home and Colonial stopped me one day in the High Street deal, and he said, "Would you like to come and work for me?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you're the fastest errand boy in town." I said, "All right, well, how much will you pay me?" He said, "Well, how much you get now?" I said, 8 shillings a week. And he said, I remember, he said, "All right, I'll give you 10. So I went to the manager of Lipton's, and I said, "The manager of Home and Colonial is going to give me 10 shillings a week." So the manager of Lipton's said, "All right, I'll give you 10. So I went back to the manager of Home and Colonial, and I said, "The manager of Lipton's is going to give me 10 shillings a week." And surprisingly, the manager of Home and Colonial said, "I'll give you 12. And so I went back to the manager of Lipton's, and I said, "This is really true." I said, "The manager of Home and Colonial is going to give me 12 shillings a week." So the manager of Lipton's said, "All right, I'll give you 12. So I went back to the manager of Home and Colonial, and I said, "The manager is going to give me 12 shillings a week." And the manager of the Home and Colonial said, "I'll give you 14. I said, "Honestly true." So I went back to the manager of Lipton's, and I said, "The manager of Home and Colonial is going to give me 14 shillings a week." And the manager of Lipton's said, "All right, well, shove off."
Oh, it's funny. You know what, Norman? I have to shove off for a commercial break, but you just stay on that settee.
Well, I was just going to tell you about...
Is there another punchline?
No, because the thing was very sad. I was working for the Home and Colonial. 6 weeks later, they purchased a van to do their deliveries, and I was out of work. That taught me not to be greedy. It really did.
You know what? I'll be out of work if I don't go to this commercial break, but Norman will be here right after. See you then. Well, obviously, we're back, and still with us, complete with that mischievous grin and that very naughty boy look that he has sometimes. At the marvellous age of 87, it is the one and only Sir Norman Wisdom. So we're glad you're with us today, Norman. I think it's very interesting in the book, and Norman wants to tell you that it is published tomorrow, so that means I can tell you that straight.
My autobiography.
Your autobiography, of course. But you do talk about the Army as being, you know, the one organisation that gave you a structure to your life, education, all sorts of things. So how do you look back on that period?
I owe everything to the Army, because I know it sounds terrible, but I was sleeping in ditches and haystacks and doorsteps and and starving hungry. And I was sleeping behind the Marshall Foxtrot at Victoria Station when I was just 14. And I used to go over the road to a coffee stall, which was open all night, and just look over the counter about 1:30 in the morning. And he'd ask me questions. I told him my position and all, and he pushed me a cup of bovril and a nice toasted bun thing, and I used to do that. I used to go out every night until he got fed up with it. You know? About 8 or 7 or 8 nights. Anyway, one night he said to me, "Why don't you join the Army?" And I said, "I can't get in the Army at my size." And he said, "Yes." He said, "You get in the Army when you're 14. And he said, "They expect you to grow." So I said, "Well, what do I do in the Army?" He said, "You get into the band as a boy." I said, "I don't know anything about music." He said, "Well, kid them, at least try." And so, honestly true, so I went down to Scotland Yard, was a recruiting centre in those days, and the guard allowed me to sleep in the guard room. And the following morning I had a medical examination, and I was 4 foot 10.5 tall. I am now 5 feet 4 3/4. and it is honestly true, I weighed 5 stone 9.
Oh, goodness sake.
5 stone 9. And then in the afternoon I had an interview with the bandmaster, who said to me, "You know all about music, do you? You'd like to be in the band?" And I said, "Oh yes, I'd like to be in the band." And he said, "You do know about it?" I said, "Oh yes, sir." And he looked at me, he said, "What's a flat?" I said, "Don't know that one, sir." He said, "Well, what's a sharp?" And I said, "Funny enough, I haven't come across that one either, sir." And that man looked at me, this is honestly true, and he said, "You don't know anything at all about music, do you?" And I knew he was going to say, "Get out," or more or less. But I looked at that man and I did, in my opinion, the best act I've ever done in my life, whether it be the London Palladium or films or anything. I looked at that man and I said, "No, sir, but I'd like a chance to learn, because then when I grow up I can earn a living and I'll be able to buy some food and I can pay to live somewhere. Please, sir."
And you were in.
That man looked at me, honestly true, and he said, "All right, I'll take you." Honestly, he was so sorry for me, and he walked away. And they took me, and I went to Aldershot that very afternoon.
That very day.
And then I chose the regiment I went to go to.
Hussars. Did you go to
2 weeks later, 10th Royal Hussars, situated in India, part of the British Empire then, and I went to India, having the time of my life.
That's amazing.
Really, because wonderful, beautiful sunshine, my own bed, wonderful food. I was learning about music, and on top of that, football, cricket, swimming and everything, and most important of all, wonderful mates. I had the time of my life, 6.5 years in India.
Well, I tell you what, you certainly learned a lot about music. I have heard you play trumpet. I have seen you do a lot of things, but I know you write music as well as singing it. So you wrote this particular song. I know you're going to sing this for us. You wrote it for the movie, the song,
yeah.
"Don't Laugh at Me Because I'm a Fool."
Oh, I did, yeah. But you want to know, can I just tell you how I got into all that lark?
Sure, yeah.
Well, I'm swanking now, but I became the flyweight champion of the British Army in India, boxing. Main reason for that was, of course, there weren't many blokes my size. But
you look good as a boxer. Look at this. Look at that six-pack.
Oh, cool. Hey.
Fantastic.
But I used to box in the gymnasium when all the blokes were training in there, and with an imaginary opponent doing shadow boxing, as they call it. And I used to allow the shadow boxer to knock me down, hit me, bang me, and the blokes used to scream with laughter. And one day they called the entertainment officer in, and he came in, watched me, and he said, "Wisdom, that is in the concert party." And that's how it all started. And I did it at the concert party, then I watched and studied other things to do, and that's it.
And I'm going to come back to the career, because I do want to know how you actually, you know, made it onto the stage and eventually all those wonderful shows at the Palladium and everything. But we would love to hear you sing. So you've got your pianist at the ready. So would you do that now for us?
Oh, yeah, please.
Oh, yes, please, with a bit of encouragement. So Norman Wisdom.
I'm not good looking, and I'm not too smart. I may be foolish, but I've got a heart. I love the flowers and I love the sun, but when I try to love the girls, they laugh at me and run. Don't laugh at me, 'cause I'm a fool. I know it's true, yes, I'm a fool. No one seems to care. I'd give the world to share my life with someone who really loves me. I see them all falling in love, but my lucky star hides up above. Someday maybe my star will shine on me. So please don't laugh at me, 'cause I'm a fool.
Norman, come over. Come on. That's fantastic. I love that. Thank you so much. You know, there's absolutely so much in your career that you're just going to have to come back again to talk about it, because
yeah,
we could give you the whole programme, I'm afraid. Have we any more time? 25 seconds? Oh, I'm going to cry with you, Norman, because I'd love to talk to you sometime.
What are you doing? Oh, no.
And it's only Palladium. Val Parnell, wasn't it? Val Parnell discovered
Val Parnell, oh, yeah.
And Bob Montgomery. Lauren Hardy, big fan. Yeah, I know, blah, blah, blah. And still working. And the big hit in Albania and all. There's so much to talk about, but that is where we have to leave it. Please thank Sir Norman Wisdom. He will come back another day. It's fantastic. We'll see you at 2:30 tomorrow. Alan Titchmarsh is going to be our guest. We'll see you then. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.